My neighbor's TV won't turn off. He's been dead a week. I live across from a guy who passed away last week, Mr. Langston. Quiet dude. Always kept to himself, old school TV guy. He'd fall asleep to game shows every night. Nothing weird. He died alone in his kitchen. Heart attack. Landlord changed the locks. Power was supposed to be off, but every night since his TV turns on. Just static. Loud, violent static. It starts around 2:13 a.m. exactly. And it only plays when the lights are off in my apartment. I knocked once to check. It turned off the second I touched the door. No one answered. I recorded the sound one night and slowed the audio. There's a voice under the static. It says my name. I haven't gone near the door since. I was told the town I lived in never existed. Now I've found proof it did. I lost my husband on April 30th, 1986. Not to death, he just disappeared. We were living in a town called Brookmore, South Carolina. A quiet, small place. We were set to fly to Europe, but I was visiting his mother before our trip. Eric stayed behind to handle a few things. We planned to meet at the airport on May 3rd. He never showed. At the gate, an airline staffer handed me a note. It was from Eric. Said the phone lines were down, and he couldn't leave the house unattended, while utility workers messed with the junction box. He begged me to go ahead, said he'd catch up. I believed him, but he never came. Then things got strange. My green card revoked. The embassy claimed it never entered the US, no record of a house. No marriage certificate. Eric's mother denied ever having a son. My family back in Slovakia told me I never got married. And Brookmore? Apparently it doesn't exist, not on any map. No town by that name in South Carolina. The embassy even said, "You must be confusing it with somewhere else." Therapists diagnosed me with persistent complex confabulation. Said my memories were false, detailed. Yes, but made up. My brain scans came back normal. But they put me on antipsychotics anyway. I gave in. Convinced myself I'd imagined an entire life. Years later, I returned to the US on a work visa and settled in Hardyville. And I started remembering again the Catfish Festival, an old decommissioned train Eric and I visited on our anniversary. They were real, just like in my delusions. I drove toward where I remembered Brookmore. The road was gone, just forest. I forced my way in, clawing through brambles, sobbing, screaming for Eric. Hours passed. I ended up exactly where I started. No sign of the town. Then, days ago, something shattered the silence. While watching YouTube, I stumbled upon something that froze me in place, a distorted broadcast from Channel 72. Brookmore's local TV station. The call sign WBRMCA, real. Just like I remembered. The channel, ominously titled, "There Is No Home," features warped tapes. But I recognized names listed in tape 2. Forecast, neighbors, friends, people I was told never existed. For the first time in decades, I feel like I'm not alone in remembering Brookmore. Maybe someone else knows. Maybe Eric is out there. Maybe Brookmore was real. And if someone preserved these broadcasts, maybe more of the truth is waiting to be uncovered. I need to know. Something's wrong with Mom. As far as I knew, my mom had never had any psychological problems. She was stable, loving, and always in control, especially after Dad left. She held our little apartment together like glue. It was just the three of us, me, my 13-year-old sister, and Mom. But something changed last week. It started small, barely noticeable. One night, around 2 a.m., I got up to use the bathroom and found her standing in the hallway. Perfectly still, facing the wall. No lights on, no phone, nothing. Just standing there in the dark. I froze. "Mom," I whispered. She didn't turn. Didn't speak. Then, as if she had only just remembered she had a body, she shuffled back to her room, dragging her feet like she was half asleep. I chalked it up to sleepwalking, but Mom had never done that before. Not once. The next night, I heard her whispering. Her room is across from mine, and I could hear the sound even with my door mostly shut. It was like murmuring, in a language I couldn't understand. Wet, guttural, like she was choking on the words. I cracked the door open and peeked. She was sitting up in bed, her face turned away from me, whispering fast now desperately. Her hands were clasped together, twitching like she was praying to something that terrified her. I didn't sleep that night. By the third night, she stopped talking to us during the day. She'd stare out the window for hours, didn't eat, barely blinked. Her eyes were glassy, ringed with dark circles. When I asked if she was okay, she just smiled. But the smile didn't touch her eyes. And then she started locking the kitchen at night. She said the knives were getting loud. When my sister asked what she meant, Mom just said they're listening. I told myself it was stress, maybe menopause. Maybe she was just tired, but last night, I woke up to the sound of her singing in the living room. It was a lullaby I'd never heard before, slow, off-key, and in that same strange language. I crept out of my room and saw her dancing slowly in the dark. The TV was on, but just static. She twirled with her arms outstretched. Her head tilted unnaturally far to the side like it was barely attached. When she stopped, she stared right at me, and then she said, "She told me you're not mine. I didn't sleep." My sister and I locked ourselves in our room. Now it's 2:11 a.m. The lights just went out, and I can hear her crawling down the hallway, calling our names. TIFU, I ordered something off the dark web for a video, and now I think I'm being watched. Hey everyone! So I run a YouTube channel where I explore the weirdest stuff I can find online, mostly dark web stuff. Creepy args, sketchy websites, etc. It's part internet mystery, part comedy. My audience loves it when I actually order the strange things I find as long as it's legal. So I take requests sometimes. About a month ago, I came across this bizarre site called Get Gnomed. It looked ridiculous. The whole thing is styled like a prank delivery service that sneaks gnomes onto your property without being seen. The tone was half whimsical, half weirdly serious. Like, we will bypass your security and place a gnome in your life whether you want it or not. So for the laughs, I went overboard. I paid for the deluxe swarm package 10 gnomes. I thought it'd be funny to do a video where I get overrun by lawn gnomes in my condo. That was the plan. At first, the first night, one gnome showed up fishing rod. Red hat, a little cracked smile, placed directly in front of my unit's door. I thought, cool, here we go. The next night, there were 3. 1 outside, 2 inside my building by the elevator and the stairwell. I live on the 2nd floor, and this building has a secure front entrance. No idea how they got in. The night after that, I found 5 more in weird places. 1 perched on my AC unit, another in the laundry room of my building with no note, just sitting upright like it belonged there. 1 on top of my car, 2 facing each other on my balcony, which I always keep locked. At this point, I was nervous but also fascinated. I filmed what I could, but then I started noticing things I couldn't explain. My camera battery kept draining to 0% overnight. One of the gnomes moved positions on its own. I thought I was imagining it until I checked time-stamped photos. A neighbor said they saw someone in a gray hoodie just standing by my door at like 3 a.m. I checked my camera static. And the weirdest part, I tried to throw the gnomes out, like, really throw them away. 2 came back. I don't feel safe in my place anymore. I've started hearing creaks at night. My cat, who's normally chill, stares into corners and won't go near the gnome I left by the fridge for content. This was supposed to be a dumb viral joke, but I think I might have let something in and I don't know how to stop it. Has anyone heard of this service or had something similar happen? TLDR ordered dark web gnome service on myself. They also added they upgraded me for free because the gnomer Norman was late. And they don't know I ordered it on myself for a YouTube video. The woman who lives in the photo. I moved into my boyfriend's apartment 2 months ago. He travels a lot for work, so I'm often alone. There's a wall in the hallway with dozens of photos, old family portraits. Black and white, most of them faded. His grandmother was really into photography, he said. Some frames are cracked, and a few aren't labeled at all. I liked the aesthetic at first, until I noticed her. She's in 3 photos, a tall woman in the background, wearing an old-fashioned black dress, wide eyes, pale skin. In one picture, she's standing just outside a window, in another reflected in a mirror. In the third, she's behind a child on a swing but blurred, like she was moving fast. I never noticed her until recently, but once I did, I couldn't stop seeing her, and she kept changing positions. The second photo? Her head was tilted further the next day, the next week. Her mouth was slightly open. I asked my boyfriend, half joking, if he was playing some kind of prank. He looked confused, said, "What woman?" He doesn't see her. I took photos of the frames with my phone. She's not in them. Only in the printed copies on the wall. Then last week, at exactly 12:07 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway. Soft. Barefoot, I got up. The hall was empty, but all the photo frames were slightly tilted, like someone had touched each one. I fixed them, went back to bed, tried to sleep, but the next morning, the first photo, the one with the window, had new condensation on the glass from the inside of the frame, like someone breathed on it. And now there's a fourth photo with her in it. It's a picture of the hallway, taken from the inside of the apartment, and she's standing right in front of the camera, staring down the hall toward my bedroom. He left me a room for the summer and a list of horrifying rules. Email sent, received June 4th, 2013. Hey Charlie, I sent you email instead of telling it through spoken word. It would be too long. I have gone out for the summer, and I would like to invite you to stay over in my room for the summer. If you do accept, read the following once you get inside of my room. Make yourself at home. There's a storage box to the side of the room. It has a knack for regenerating every 3 hours, so you'll never go hungry. Clean up after yourself. I would like my room in the same state as it was from today. Save this rule in your phone if you have to. The room wall colors are black. Remember this, there is a closet door near the back. Do not go in my closet. There are things are not meant to be seen by human eyes. What lies in my closet is one of them. If you break this rule anyway, refer to Rule 8. You will be all alone during this time. Should you hear any humans outside anywhere, do not open the door and close your eyes for about 10 seconds. They should stop soon after. They don't go to sleep. They will think you are dead. 5. If you hear any dogs barking instead of humans, do not look out the window. Make sure the blinds are turned all the way down. If you can, it sure as hell can see you. It won't hesitate to yank you out of the room and drag you to God knows where. 6. Make sure to feed the plant, if the plant seems to twitch. Stay away from it, it's hungry, and it wants more than snacks this time. 7. If the walls ever look like it's changing to a red color, get under the covers and hide. The closet door will start to open. Do not come out of hiding until you hear the closet door close. If the walls are bloody red, or if you have came out of hiding, you're toast. The walls usually change color once every 3 weeks, and will take 2 minutes to fully transition. The event in itself will take an hour. 8. Pray. 9. Do whatever you please. Game, watch TV, invite a friend over, but please, for the love of God, do not break anything. I value my items and would hurt you or your friend for breaking my things. Watch yourself. 10. If you see a woman in the corner of the room, say, "Hey, that's Anna." Anna comes from a completely different dimension, and strangely enough, loves human beings to the point where she wants to permanently live here on Earth for some reason. Me and her have been friends since 2001, through thick and thin. Please be nice to her. You are unaware of her power, and do not want to be on the receiving end of her hand. 11. Have fun. Rules for rooms with smart toys. Found scribbled on the back of a children's notebook stained with dried blood. Rule 1. Never sleep with more than 3 talking toys in the room. Rule 2. If your eyes blink out of turn, cover the mirrors. Rule 3. Toys must face the wall, always. Rule 4. Never let them stand in a circle. Rule 5. If everyone lights up at the same time, don't pray. Run away. Good night. Or, I don't know, I think it's been 7 or 8 years. I must have been 6 or 7. He was just a kid with cute toys, you know? Those plush ones that talk when you squeeze their belly. He had a rabbit that said, "I love you." A bear that laughed with its belly vibrating. A llama that sang a silly song about rainbows. They were all lined up on my bedroom windowsill. It was ritual. I tidied them up every night before bed, until that night. The night of the circle, I woke up in the middle of the night, without knowing why. It was dark, but there was a faint light coming from the ground. All my toys, all of them, were outside the window. They formed a perfect circle in the middle of the room, sitting, facing each other. And everyone is lit at the same time. Rule 6. Never make circles with stuffed toys, not even as a joke. Rule 7. If the light comes from within them, Something has already passed through the veil. The rabbit turned its button face towards me, and he spoke. Now it's your turn to play. The voice wasn't the usual one. It was humid, moldy, as if it were coming from inside something rotten. I tried to scream, but my mouth wouldn't open. Only the eyes moved. The llama started to sing, "Play, play, sleep, sleep when you wake up soft meat." And the bear fell to the ground, cracked, not a toy, of bone. From inside it came a sound of oozing flesh, a small arm. Human, severed. Rule 8, never accept used toys from relatives who have tragically died. They come back to look for company. The next day, I woke up in my bed, as if nothing had happened, but the toys were gone, all. My dad said he threw it away, that they were old, that they had started to talk to themselves. But at night, I heard it. From the wardrobe. Whispers. It's still your turn. I grew up. I'm in my early 20s now, but yesterday I changed cities. I rented a new apartment, and when I arrived, on the bed, there was a package, no sender. Within, the rabbit. The same, with new eyes, whites. Rule 9, if a toy comes back alone. You no longer have a home. Rule 10. When toys are older than you remember, they are no longer toys. They are bones covered in cloth. If you enjoyed the story, consider subscribing. But don't blame me if you can't sleep tonight. Until next time, keep the lights on and the doors locked. Goodbye.